Do I really need a lawyer to get divorced? Yeah. Look, for some people, getting access to legal representation is literally not a choice. So I'm not talking to you. Like, technically, you can make a divorce occur if you've got some persistence, you've got the filing fee, you're willing to work at it for a year or two. Yes, you can do it. But if getting access to enough funds and enough resources between you, your mama, your daddy, your loan, your credit card, your whatever, if that's an option for you, you're going to need to do it. And here's the thing, that may sound self-serving, right? I'm a lawyer, but even if you don't hire me, I'm just telling you, you need a lawyer wherever you are. Because here's the thing, the number one reason you've got to get a lawyer to get divorced is you don't know what you don't know. Now, here's a perfect example of a client I represented a while back, and she and her husband had thought they were going to get divorced without lawyers, right? Like, he is this fancy CFO. She'd been a stay-at-home mom. He had it all handled. Don't you worry about it. Okay. And they came to me saying, hey, can you represent both of us? No, I cannot represent both of you. I'm a lawyer. I have fiduciary duties. I can only represent one of you. So I represented the wife, and we started looking at this deal that they'd made that was a really good deal for her. Now, look, I don't think this guy was trying to be a bad guy. He just didn't know what he didn't know, because in this deal, it didn't have anything about his bonus. He hadn't received it yet, but he was entitled to it. So when he was entitled to it for work performed in a year while they were married, that made it community property. And it was going to be like six figures, mid six figures, right? It was a lot of money, and it wasn't even on the spreadsheet. They had like 6 cars. The cars weren't even listed, and some of those cars were expensive, right? So there are things that even this guy who was a CFO, and they were getting along amicably, like it was not some knockdown, drag out situation. He didn't know they're supposed to go on the spreadsheet. And that's the thing. You need a lawyer who's going to do the work to dig in. And like at our firm, look, you can make whatever deal that you want to make. I'm not going to stop you. Somebody at my law firm is not going to stop you. But here's the thing. We will make sure that you understand the deal that you're making. You need to understand what you're giving up, what you're getting in return, what your risks are, what the potential benefits are, what are the potential impacts to the kids, to your estate, to your future earnings. And that's what a lawyer can do. All right, that's on the sort of advice part. The second thing a lawyer can do for you is actually get the divorce done. Look, I am a lawyer. This is my, full-time job to do legal things. I still find it confusing sometimes to get a hearing set, to figure out what the judge wants and why they won't sign my paperwork, to announce. If you're in Austin, you have to announce ahead of time for a hearing. Maneuvering through the technical part of the legal process is enough of a reason. Even if you didn't want the advice, you're like, oh, Hannah, you don't understand. We don't have anything. We don't even have a house. All right, I feel you on that. Maybe the counsel isn't as important to you in that situation, but you need the technical help to actually make it occur. Because in most counties, what happens, you may come together and find some forms online and write up your own decree, right? So you think, okay, we're done. We just go up there and the judge is just going to sign it. Not going to happen. What they usually will make you do is go through a staff attorney in their office to have reviewed and make sure it conforms to the way decrees are supposed to look, because we're dealing with kids, money, property, businesses, land, RSUs. They're not going to let you walk in with a piece of notebook paper, essentially, and then sign it. That's not how it goes. So you've got to go to a staff attorney, get them to review it. Usually they're going to kick it back and say, this isn't going to get signed for XYZ reasons. You've got to go make edits and then go through this process multiple times. And in most counties, that wait can be months and months. Then you got to wait for a court date. You've got to make sure you got service handled. Did you file your initial paperwork right? Do you have the closing forms, like an income withholding order, the BVS form that the court requires? Those letters, there's a lot of letters of things that you have to do to make sure your divorce actually occurs. And think about it, it makes sense. You are disposing of, and I don't mean like getting rid of, but I mean like allocating every asset, liability, thing about your kids, money, businesses, everything in this one document. Ours are think things like 50 pages and that's not even the longest ones, okay? Like 50 pages worth of stuff we got to do to make sure everything is handled for you. Because here's the thing, you're like, no. I just want to get it done. Just push it through. I want to make this as fast as possible. That's true. Until a year later, you realize your name is still on the deed with that guy. You're still on the hook for the mortgage, but you didn't think about, what do I do if he doesn't pay the mortgage? But I'm not on the original deed. I just was on the refinance. So I'm on the hook to pay, but I don't have any rights to the property. That's what a lawyer can help you think through. And maybe you have to end up doing that for one reason or the other. Like, I totally get it. But an attorney, be it our firm or any other firm, can help you, or should help you anyway, think through that process, both from a give you good counsel and advice perspective and a let's technically get this done perspective. So, in short, yes, you really need a lawyer. If you don't have access to one or you can't, you can do things like go through the various legal clinics in the city where you are. Like in Austin, there's volunteer legal services. There's Salsa, which is a pretty fun name, in San Antonio. And most major cities in Texas have some option for you to get access to legal resources if you make below a certain income. You might also consider, some law firms can do little bits and pieces of your divorce. So maybe y'all come up with a deal and the lawyer writes it up for you to help keep costs down. Like, there are other options if getting money together is just literally impractical for you. But if there's any way you can pull it off, I really think you need to, and you'll be glad in the long term that you did.